Will Tell me why, though it all appears to die, flower falls again to rise. When the cold knocks on our shutters, we lie and say goodnight. Pain all through my shoulders. Am I alright? Emily. I'm on your side. I wanna know. Tell me why. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's fine. I believe it all heals in time. When the light casts over your shoulder, a new moon in your eyes, I will be strong, I will be sober, I'm your ride, I'm your ride, Italy. Oh, Italy. Oh, Italy. I'm your ride. Italy. Oh, Italy. Oh, Italy. I'm your ride. Italy. Oh, Italy. Oh, Italy. I'm your ride. I'm your ride. Emily.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Ben from Universal Audio, and welcome to a very special edition of UA Live. Today, we're going to be in the studio, in the basement, in the backyard, with Charlie Hunter and Daron, talking about in the woods with Charlie Hunter and Daron. How you guys doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Well, Man, this super stoked to have you guys here on the show today. Charlie, been a big fan of your music for years now.
I'm not going to hold that against you.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, dude, and we've actually you've been hanging out with some other UA folks internally. We do a Friday little like guitar hang here. So James Santiago and the guitar guys brought you in, and had some amazing conversations. And we heard through the grapevine that you've now transformed from being just a guitar / bass player to being a recording engineer. What's with that? There's a rumor going around that you know how to record now, and that's dangerous. And we're here we're here today to investigate these claims.
Yeah, and then when you hear what I'm playing, you might wish me to go back. Well, the funny thing is I mean, I was on the road for so long, for so many years, and basically I was driving a van essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have time to learn any of this stuff, and I at one point in my life I convinced myself that this was for other people that were smarter than I was, that people that could deal with this shit and understood it. I was just going to concentrate on trying to play my weird ass instrument that I play.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure with everyone else, the COVID happened, and like you say, James Santiago who's a super awesome, all around good guy to begin with, great guitar player, and also makes great gear. I've known James for, I think, about 30 years now, just from the Bay Area, from coming up in the Bay Area, knowing a lot of people, and also his wife, Sheila. We played a few times, and they're the best. And my friend Carter McLean, a great drummer, he told me, look, man, just get an Apollo and Luna. I just took Pro Tools off my machine because they've just developed this thing called Luna. You can learn how to use it, and I'll help you learn. And so James was kind enough to help me along in the process. I got an Apollo, and then Carter helped me along, and it's been a hell of an experience, a very empowering experience as well.
Yeah. Well, and so how did you and Daron start working together? What's a little bit of the story behind the project that you guys have been working on this summer?
Sir,
we met at my job randomly.
Yeah.
And that was pretty incredible. The timing was incredible, but also the situation. It was slow, and I saw him, recognized him because I had downloaded something off of Loop Loft and made some beats with it, which I had on my phone. So we linked up, and that kind of really started everything. It wasn't really until a year later that we really started working on songs.
Yeah, and if I may, I didn't know him as like a songwriter. And granted, there's a bit of an age discrepancy. I know you can't tell from looking at us, but I didn't know that he wrote so many. He was a songwriter, and I mean that in like the old school sense of the word, like everything from Tin Pan Alley up to Brill Building type stuff in through our modern lens today, right? I just thought of him when I met him as, here's this cool producer guy that really knows how to manipulate these sounds, because that's all he really showed me.
Yeah.
And then my good friend Bobby Previtt, we had him come down here to Greensboro. Shout out to Bobby. And he does this thing called the Voodoo Orchestra, which is like his version of, he gets a bunch of local musicians together and teaches them how to play Bitches Brew, essentially.
Okay.
And essentially it's a lot about improvising. And I said, well, I know this guy he's got an MPC and Bobby was great. And I think probably you and Bobby spent more time together than anyone in that orchestra.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because he really wanted me as the wild card, It was a lot of triggering of sounds. I had my MPC hooked up into like guitar pedals and all sorts of things sitting on the floor, just manipulating samples I had loaded up on there, ones I had made. So we definitely got together and kind of hashed things out. It was my first time really doing something like that. So quite an experience.
And it was great. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And so I knew him as in that capacity. But then when, the pandemic hit and I was grounded, I was so used to touring, we just started to kind of hang out a little bit here and there. And he came over with a couple tunes, and I was just like, okay, I can play some drums on these, and I can do this. And I'll put these on, and oh wow, this is damn fun, man. And then
Yeah.
like 12 tunes later, we were like, man,
14
all right.
days.
You know, it's like, man, we were doing a tune a day.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
nuts.
wow.
I was like struggling but loving it.
Yeah, but I had no idea that he was capable of writing songs in such a variety of, I guess I hate to use the term genre. I mean, it's 2020, so what does that even mean? But
Yeah.
for someone my age who's in his early 50s, that you know, it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute, this song kind of reminds me of like a Lovin' Spoonful tune. Then he bring another tune, and I was like, wait, this is kind of like a cameo song. And some of the time I'd be, man, do you know like Lovin' Spoonful? He's like, well, not sure, I don't know Lovin' Spoonful. Whatever. Just like, okay, all right, well, you just wrote a fucking tune that would have been a hit in 1965, just so you know.
Just so you know.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that, like the back and forth we have, because I feel like I've been really learning what it means, or what it meant to play that music during that time through Charlie, because you know I live vicariously through him now with it. And,
Poor guy.
yeah, and I have like, you know, I've been sampling and listening to records, so I love it. But to hear little ins and outs, you know, and he's like linked up with people who made those records, and he's made, you know, so it was crazy.
It's a bit of a trip. It's a bit of a trip. But
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's kind of what's your guys' creative process? So it sounds like Daron, you're kind of coming to a session with an idea, or you know, or some stems or something that you guys are kind of building off of. Is that kind of where most of these songs are starting? And then walk us through that process.
Yeah, so for the most part, I'll usually think of concepts or like little ideas, just like the average person, on some sort of instrument. I also have like a group of people that I work with that are like my close buddies. So like we draft ideas, and really once something kind of feels right, I try to develop it as much as I can to my ability. I can play instruments, but I am not a musician. I'm just enough to get the idea down, and then I try to find the most appropriate and authentic application for it, which is great, I think, but it limited me based on who I know and our musical kind of prowess. So it was like lightning when we met, you know?
Right?
Yeah, and it was also great for me as well, because, you know, I'd spent a lot of time back in the day playing on whatever you want to call hip hop stuff back then, you know. But and I guess I played on a few records that people know and stuff like that.
Just a few.
No, but you know, I mean, I'm just saying, but I am an old soul, I guess, so I kind of skew to another era. And he was just like, look, man, you know, he's being modest, but really a lot of the stuff that he came with, it was really fleshed out, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Some of it, I added a lot to it. Some of it, I added just a little sprinkle here or there. And it was good. The sprinkle worked. It was nice, and it gave it a kind of a human vibe to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, really, it's been a learning experience for me as well. Because I mean, when he came over here like 4 or 5 months ago, and he saw my workflow, he had to do his best. I think I was going to give him an aneurysm. It was like watching like a 90-year-old cross the street when the light turns red. You know what I mean? And I just saw him there, like being very patient. I don't think I've ever seen anyone be that patient before.
It's like, oh, that's how you do it? Yeah, turn that down.
Yeah. See that knob? You grab it and you click and you drag it downwards.
Yeah. It was just like, it was really good. And through that process, because I actually, for the most part, will create and flesh things out in Ableton because of, you know, the electronic and the ease of it and stuff. And before I actually got Luna and it came out, that's what I've been using. So what I like to do is take the live and the electronic and do a nice like hybridization of it.
Yeah.
Blend it as appropriately as it seems, and that's kind of what I'll show you like when we go through this. It's the iterations of it. Yeah
I mean that's what's really cool, and that's why I was so interested in hanging out with you guys as we were getting ready for the show. It was like the mixture of the worlds, right? So like you've got some, sorry to say it, Charlie, you got some old, some new, you got some Ableton, you got some Luna. You're kind of getting such a cool combination of everything. And I got to check out the private SoundCloud with all the tracks you guys have been making, and like, the variety is there, the production value is there, but end of the day, the thing that comes through the most is the human nature of it. So like, you're hearing songs, you're hearing musicianship, you're hearing inspiration coming through that, and that's just like, it's such a cool thing to hear in music, and that's why I really wanted to eke out from you guys, especially today, is like, how do you get that human touch to be added to stuff that maybe it starts as a loop, or maybe it starts as like, you know, sampling from a thing, but you know, taking that and growing it from this like seed of an idea into a fully fleshed out song. That's the part that a lot of people, I guess it's, to me, it's the most interesting part of the process. And I think to a lot of people, it can be the most like daunting part of the process, because it can feel like it needs a lot. But Charlie, as you said, sometimes it only needs a little splash. So how do you, you know, what's your guys' thought process? Like, what's the workflow like when you're, you know, hearing a song for the first time and then starting to figure out like where to go with it next?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting, that question. It's also related to why I really don't say I'm a musician, because I've always been really distracted with what I want to do, and I just kind of do it. And so that's made it hard for me to box myself in, I guess. So when it comes to like the songs and the creation, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like, it's almost like lightning comes out and it's bouncing around everywhere, and I can see it, I can feel it, and I gotta try to bottle it. But I would also kind of picture it as like when I hear a song, regardless of its state, you know, I can hear past the production, I hear the value of it and the timelessness in it. And it's kind of like a house that just, like a Sims, you know, like the Sims game house, it's just like boom, and there's all this furniture all everywhere, and I gotta like clean it up and take out old stuff and bring in some new, you know, it's so
I mean, I would also add to that I think it's been a real education for me, because I've spent so much time around great musicians, and I really have been lucky. I played with some of the best, and I don't take that for granted. It's a mitzvah, full mitzvah. But you know what I see often happens. You know, there's always this kind of balance of the intellectual and the visceral, regardless of what you do. But when you put the technical in there, and you spend so much time valuing technical ability of one kind or another, you know, you only have so much room in your head, and I think when you know, for instance, if I've spent like the last 4 or 5 months just trying to learn how to play like Blind Blake better, so I can get my shit together. You know, excuse me, but what ends up happening is you push out the macro thing. I think it's hard to go back. I've known very few people. Bobby Previtt is one of them, who has this insane technical ability, but he also has a conceptual ability that is equal to that, and maybe even more. Whereas Daron has this real conceptual ability, and I feel like someone like myself, I may have had that at one time, but I've been driving a van. I've been trying to play really good every night for so long that I feel like, oh, okay, maybe that's not my strong suit anymore. And I felt like, well, wait a minute. What I can do with this relationship is this guy is just aid and abet him, and be like, I can hear a song that he said, and I said, you know what, I think this would sound good. I'm going to put what I think of are like Philly International drums on this, and I'm going to put a little Carol Kay style bass. Then I'm going to put some David T. Walker guitar. Then I'm going to do this, or another tune where I'd be like, you know what, man, this needs some like shit that sounds like The Cure. Or like Johnny Marr. I'm going to put that on it. And then I just give it to him, and I'm like, dude, I'm an old guy. It's like I pissed on all the fire hydrants, and I don't mean to say that immodestly, but I've been lucky and I worked really hard. It's like I'm not trying to like prove anything. I'm just trying to deliver whatever I have so that he can take it. I give it to him, and I mean, when we first started working together, he was like nervously like, there's this guitar solo, I don't know. I go, dude, you could take that guitar solo and throw it in the garbage. I don't care. You could turn it backwards. You could turn it upside down. You could put it in another key. You could actually teach your grandma to play it and have her record it. I don't care. Do what I gave it to you so that you could use your imagination to do whatever the hell you want with it. And that's what's exciting to me. And that's why it's been fun, because we've had like a real fun game. It's like a volley that just keeps going and going and going.
There's like not very much ego involved. It's really, the back and forth is just really incredible. You know, like he's dropping all these like old school names, and I may have heard of them, but to see it in practice and to have like almost like a stemmed breakdown of something so 40 years practice is invaluable for me. And it really put me in a position to bring in all of the extra influence that was kind of harbored behind, like inside of me.
Yeah.
And we just ride that. We talk in terms like that, like this sounds a little Gamble and Huff, like let's you know what I'm saying, like that's kind of how we have our back and forth, which is crazy because I've had that back and forth with people, but it's never been the combo of being able to have that language and have someone who can do it.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
That's yeah.
It's one thing. It's one thing to know, man, I kind of want to do this, but then it's another thing to be like, yeah, no, it should be this, and then it just pulls
and
it
do
out.
it. Yeah, and it like hits spot on like that. I love it.
Yeah, but some of these tracks that he sent me, he's playing like the bass part or the keys part or the guitar part.
Yeah.
And he'll always say, yeah, you should probably redo that. And I'd say 75% of the time I do, or I do something different. But there's 25% of the time where I'm never going to play it. Even with whatever is not correct about it, I'm never going to play it as cool as he played it. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll base an entire thing off of something that he's not very proud of in terms of playing as a musician. But I'm just like, no, that's the vibe.
That's it. Yep.
No musician is going to put any more vibe on it than is there right now. It's telling its own little tale.
Yeah,
you know?
And that information as an artist and a producer is really invaluable to me. So like it's because it tells me something that helps me learn and grow, but also you have a level of like, he has this level of celebrity, so it's like I know you hate when I say that, but
I'm
it's
a
like
12th tier celebrity.
Well,
a few more people know me than
it's
know
more
the mailman.
It's the validation. It's the validation that I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. Because as an artist, you're always questioning, like, is this cool? Do I rock with this, or do I like how it was fed to me? You know what I'm saying? There's always that question, and you just try to ignore it and just do it. You got to just do it.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
That's the big thing, right? Is you had to like kind of put a lot of those things to the side and then just be in the moment. And that's what I'm hearing from you guys is like it sounds like you two are really good at just like getting into the moment, getting into the flow of being creative without really caring too much about like either being perfect or really caring about like, oh man, am I stepping on someone's toes? Like, you just like you go for it, you do it, you iterate, and Charlie, like to what you said was so beautiful, man. Of like you just having no ego about what's going on. Of like, who cares if if he teaches his grandma to replay your solo, like. For a lot of musicians, I mean, even I think we can all relate to this personally, right? Like the first time you get replaced on a gig, you feel like total shit. You just are like, wow, they pulled me off that record. I see.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not good. Like you get so inside yourself, you get so worried about it. But like the more mature you get, it happens a couple times. You realize, man, it's not personal. Like it's not a thing. Like all that really actually matters is like what's serving the music, like what's serving the song. And end of the day, someone you're giving it your vision. It may not hit with what someone else's vision is for it, but like end of the day, like who gets to make that decision? It should almost always be the artist, right?
Yeah, the artist makes the final call, of course.
Yeah.
And that's like it's so important to know that because like that it takes the vision, and not everyone has like you said the full vision. So it's like the artist has the final say, and it's like the producer who helps them reach whatever they want. And like I said, I write with some of my friends and stuff, and I'm always like, hey, like I love you, but when I'm listening to the song, I don't even listen to who did it. It's like if I like it, I'm gonna take it. If I like parts of it, I'm gonna take that. At the end of the day, it isn't personal because it's about finishing and doing it, so you can look at it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, speaking of which, let's hear some music, man. Let's. Do you guys mind sharing your screen? And I wanna show people. We've when we were chatting before about how do we describe your guys' music. I love the word that you guys used for it. Trunk funk.
Trunk funk.
Trunk funk.
It's that. Oh, that like Here, you want me to share it now?
Go ahead and share your screen. Let's pull up the session here. And so this song, this is called.
Did we do it?
Yep, I got it.
Okay,
I'm getting it. So this is called Gusto.
Gusto.
And let's let's hear a little bit of it, and then we'll geek out and talk about how and what you guys were doing on it.
All right. Okay.
Are you gonna play it?
I'm gonna play it. Are you asking me?
I don't know. You're okay.
No, yeah, I got it.
Let's play it.
All right, here we go.
ain't something I can receive. I thought you knew the whole time. What you need ain't in my reality. But if it's true, I'll cross the line. Love's a game you used to say I play too much, so I stopped playing games with you. I ain't no player, baby. I don't wanna play no games. All this time you kept your mind on me to see it through, but I never could choose. I can never choose. I can never choose. No, never. My bad, I'm such a dummy. Been wasting too much time with little mommy. Say I got too much pride, but you don't need to say you need to slow up the game and cool them jets down, cause we just met. You don't get the truth, you said you like we're all in, but I ain't mad at you. You and your bad temper, looking for love, hoping that it's not passing, yeah. Oh, show me the proof, give me that gusto, me the oh my gosh, don't wanna waste no time with her. Give me the juice, give me that gusto, give me the scoop, yeah. No, don't rush, maybe we should take it slow.
Okay.
Damn.
Gotta leave something for you.
Yo.
You missed my one drum fill.
Dude, right now, the chat right now, insert stank face.
Good.
I'm gonna need to wash my hands after touching that funk. P Funky. Oh hell yes, need more of this in my life. Yeah, bringing the funk, dancing over here. Hello, 1970, dude. Yeah, this is just some like, Snoop just rolled up and said, "This kills. I'm getting out of the game. I'm done." Yo, for real, like this. To me, it's
so
just
funny.
got the P Funk. It's got some Prince. It's just got trunk funk, man. Yeah, you guys. That is the correct terminology, I believe, for what we just heard.
Yeah, it's got a bump in the back. It's got a little bit of hip hop. It's got I don't know. It's just
well, it's cool.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So like, and that's kind of the cool thing is like production wise, there's a lot of vocal. You got a lot of like character, and that's to me that's where the P Funk and Prince stuff like just you have vocals kind of jutting out every once in a while. You got the kind of layers and the different characters adding together, but at the core of it is the groove, man. So let's break it down from the bottom up. Where'd this come from? Where did this song start?
This song, man, so that bass line I did with my voice randomly when I was chilling with my friend, and his name's James. He does a lot of the artwork. Shout out, James. And we were walking out to go to get some tacos, and I just started playing this beat, and he started playing the bass line, and I was like, "Yo, that bass line's sick!" And he was like, "You just did this with your voice," and so it kind of started from that groove. The original one, of course, I programmed with the, electronic kit. So it had the idea, but it wasn't totally there. And I can actually play a little bit of that one if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Just so you can see where the difference.
I kind of like this one, the straight up one. I mean, too, because it reminds me of like back when Curtis Mayfield would make those demos. I don't know if you heard those, but like he would make demos of just him with the guitar on a tape recorder and send them to Johnny Pate, and Johnny Pate would do all those arrangements.
Take it from this to that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this version, there's a lot of electronic. Like the bass is electronic in this as well. But in the final one, I got my buddy Matt from Reliably Bad to hit that bass. Shout out Matt.
Matt Laird.
Yeah, Matt Laird.
Yo, I saw Matt. Matt's actually in the chat watching along with us today.
Matt, yeah.
He's the hardest working man in no business.
Killer dude.
That's what everybody is. Everybody is today.
Yeah.
So we got we changed that up. He killed that. I got like some clav in there or some keys. But yeah, let me just show you. It's taking a dive. Let's see.
Is it working? Yeah.
There it is.
There's a lot of my guitar on this. My friend Ben's on this.
What you want ain't something I can receive. I thought you
So you can see, similar.
the whole time.
It's just a little bit more.
It's a little more relaxed. It's a little more chill.
Yeah.
And this is kind of how I will receive not this specific tune, but most of the songs I get from him. They come in that form.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, And a couple of those guitars, he was like, I'm going to take that off. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Nope, you're keeping that one in.
There's
I mean,
one
it's
guitar.
It's not right.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't sound good to me when you took it out. It sounded too much like exactly like music that I would have bought when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, so that's like really, that insight is great. I was honored when I was like, oh, you like the guitar part I did, the one thing? When a Charlie Hunter says, no, keep that guitar part and it's yours, you're like, yes.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So I can show you kind of what we did with those drums. So we have like live drums, a kick, snare, hat, and that's actually just two mics on this. I don't know if y'all can see, but
So this is your set in here. So now a mixture of program drums and Charlie's live drums in here, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the setup, and it never moves.
Yeah,
I nailed that microphone into the ceiling.
Permanent. It's a permanent fixture.
I can't be bothered with moving shit around.
That's the first step to trunk funk.
It's got to be nailed. Your microphone has to be nailed into the ceiling, and the cord is also nailed in as well, all the way down.
Permanent install. There's no
We
undo.
use nails. Very elemental.
And that's it looks like that's an Earthworks microphone, I believe, right?
Yeah, they were super cool. Again, my friend Carter McLean, shout out to Carter. He really connected me with them, and they sent me a beautiful pair of microphones. And when they sent it to me, it was just like, I don't even know how this shit works. I mean, I've been around this my whole life. I've been in studios recording, but I mean, why didn't I ask questions? I don't know. I probably should have asked a few questions. I had plenty of chances to. I think I was so nervous about messing up the music I was playing on that I never asked questions about anything else.
Yeah, right.
So anyhow, the people at Earthworks were super cool. And I mean, I have 4 microphones. I have this pair of Earthworks. I have an AEA Nuvo 20, I think it's called. It's a ribbon microphone.
I think it's rad. All the perks, all the drums.
Yeah. All the percussion, and there's a lot, not on this track, but on many of the tracks on that SoundCloud. There's tons of percussion. And I recorded everything on that mic, and it's unbelievable. Like the conga sounds on that mic are just ridiculous. So.
Yeah.
And then a bass drum mic, that's it.
What do you use for the bass drum mic?
Just, I don't know, what is this?
That's a 52?
Yeah, 52.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Beta 52. Is it a Beta 52?
I don't know.
One of those. This has the blue ribbon around it.
It's $100.
Hey.
Nice. So now, I'd love to hear what these drums sound like on their own. So this is program plus some live all together.
So the first 2 we have are the kick and the snare and the hat. And then I have some electronic drums, a snare, clap, vinyl clap that I took from some vinyl, and like an 808 crash.
And if I can add, a lot of this stuff when we were going through, we would say, oh man, let's just, either I would say, hey, let's just have the electronic drums on this, because I mean, I love playing drums. You can't get me off a kit if I'm around it, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm the world's best drummer. You know what I mean? It's like a love-hate relationship. I love them and they hate me. You know what I mean? But I have a good feel, and I do okay. But a lot of the time I'd be like, man, I like your E-drums, the stuff you did better than mine. And he would be like, nah, I like your acoustic drums better. And then every time we would put one or the other, we didn't like it. It kind of had to be both for it to get that vibe.
Yeah.
That he's really ultimately going for.
Yeah, it's like a consistency in the drive, but an inconsistency in the sound. I don't know. It's
Well, I mean, it's a mixture of machine and human, right? Like that. You get a little push pull, you get a little human action, but you also get this like machine, drum machine vibe that is the right vibe for the song.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think any of the drum parts. I think maybe 1 or 2 things I did on all of the stuff that we've done together is looped. Most everything is through played, and even with the mess ups, it's through played.
Yeah,
because it's funny if you hear like stems of like famous recordings you've listened to your whole life, you're like, damn, I never noticed how out of tune that
Yeah, there's
guitar
so
is.
much.
I know.
But there's 3 other guitars on the track, and when you introduce that guitar with that G string that's so ridiculously sharp, you're like, I see. All that's happening there is a mild chorus effect because of what's going on. So any inconsistencies I have on the drums are all brought to the fore with the quantized stuff.
Yep.
And then anything that starts to begin sounding too plotting or too unhuman is brought to the fore by whatever inconsistencies and weirdness I have in my natural East Bay feel, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So check this out. We got here. I'll just... So that's a combination of right now live and 1 E snare.
That's pretty good. I actually played pretty good, Daron.
Yeah, it's decent.
You're fine.
I mean, I might have fixed some things, but here. So if I were to break it down a little bit more, we got the E drum here. Let's see. Oh,
It's like, did you have to do a lot of processing to the real drums to get them to fit together sonically?
no.
Or? No?
Well, no. I mean, not too much.
But I'll tell you one thing I did to all the drums.
Yeah.
It's not a secret ingredient. It's a secret ingredient to me, like salt is a secret ingredient to someone who just started cooking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is the Ocean Way Studios plugin.
Yeah.
I use it on every effing. I need to say the F word so bad right now, but I use it on every damn thing. Everything
Right.
has that Ocean Way on it. I mean, I don't use it on bass guitar, but I'll use it on all the guitars, the drums, all the percussion. It's just fucking magic.
Yeah.
It truly is. And I spent a lot of time messing with that more than anything else. And almost all the drums that I send to Daron have some of that on them.
Yeah.
And are you using it in the remake mode essentially then? Are you kind of basically taking like, here's my snapshot, now put this in the Ocean Way, and then it lets you reconfigure the mic of it, as you get some room sound, but you also get that tone and you get that distance that you get in a real studio.
It's amazing. And I just dial it in. I usually put it on a bus. I'm sure everyone does the same thing. And I just dial in what I need for each instrument. Of course, the higher pitch the instrument, the more of it it'll get.
Yep.
And it just is fantastic. It's awesome. And it's great on guitar. I mean, playing my weird instrument I've used for years, I've always been like a spring reverb addict on the guitar side of it. But I was surprised to find everything I've done with Daron's project. I'm playing 6-string guitar or regular bass, and I found that I almost never use reverb on any of the guitar. I only use the Ocean Way plugin almost as a slapback a lot of the time.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff we record pretty dry. Like, I mean, I try to record dry for the most part, and yeah.
And then kind of do that stuff. So are you waiting until the mixing side then to do this, or it kind of sounds like you're doing this? You're kind of like doing it sounds to me like you're doing the takes and then doing some tweaking, some processing, some shaping of it, and then bouncing it out. It almost sounds like you're bouncing it out, committing it, and then are you going back to Ableton to edit and keep on moving along, and then back?
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah,
tons of back and forth. I'm really into committing. If I like it, I commit to it, and unless I'm in a situation where like it might be hard to get it replayed or something, like if I like it, I try to just go with it. I don't really do anything too drastic because I do plan on bouncing things back and forth. So things like reverb and delay, like I'll throw it on there and take it out. But yeah, like compression and like certain things, I'll go for it and mix it, because ultimately I don't really think about mixing until I'm at the mixing stage and have everything. It's more of like dialing tone.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason I sent him the drums like that is just because this is a tiny little room. I got all this really cool stuff from my friend Mitch at Audi Mute that helped dry it up a lot. But it has like the character of like a 1972 Plymouth Duster. You know what I mean? It's like does not have. It's really lacking. It has not been asked to dance for a long time. The sound of this room. So basically, I have to add that Ocean Way thing just to even get it to the point where it sounds like, oh wow. and it's just
Like something.
honestly, I mean, it really is magic. It's just like kind of blows my mind, and I'm sure people there looking at me as like a total rube guy who like just discovered MSG or something for the first time, but but it definitely to my ears is like, okay, this is what all the places I've recorded in through the years, you know, Avatar and Mobius and Electric Lady and blah blah blah, go on and on and on. All those places I've recorded in through the years. This is the sound that I'm used to.
Yeah.
You know, or the Site in Marin was another great studio. And the Sony studios in New York, and what's the other one? Water Music, but all those great studios that that's the sound, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's unmistakable, right? Like it is a thing where like once you put it on there, you're like, oh yeah, like that. It's like it starts sounding like a record immediately because so many of the records that we've ingrained our ears with were recorded in those rooms. It was recorded in these classic rooms, huge ceilings, beautiful hardwood floors. Like it's it's the size, it's the shape, and then it's the mic collection. It's the engineering that goes into those rooms that like. Man, it adds so much flavor to tracks. Charlie, trust me, you're not alone, man. It's one of the most commonly pulled up plugins, and it's one of the ones that it gets people most stoked to use is Ocean Waves, being able to throw stuff into there, and then what you get back is just this like professional studio recording, and you're like, oh yeah, because it's not just like a reverb. It's not just like adding a reverb thing to it. It's more like a dimension, and it's a teleportation device. That's what I'm calling it from now on.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't think you're out of line saying that either, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, and I also think a combination of mics and stuff, like I love hearing what my microphones sound like when it's run through Ocean Way, because it really takes it to just a totally different area.
Oh, totally. So we got drums. You said
so we got drums.
You said so the bass on this one you had replayed by Matt.
Yeah, Matt Laird of Reliably Bad. At Matt Laird, follow him. This is nasty. I'm gonna play it for you.
He did a good job, man.
He killed this. Yeah,
and you know his band, Reliably Bad. They're a good local band, and I kind of was coaching them about a year ago, and I was like, man, I don't know. These guys are gonna make a record. They're not ready, man. They're not ready. And I got with them like every week or something. I was like, okay, let's work on this. And man, people in their early 20s, man, if they have the gusto, pardon me, and they really want to work, they work their asses off. And damned if they didn't make a great record, and damned if they didn't get damn good.
Yeah, go check out their new single.
Very gratifying.
Yeah, they're killing it. So this is him, slaying. But to be real, I'm actually going to start it a little later because he goes nuts. Hold on. And then I'll put the drums in slowly. Yeah, see? Oh, you know what? Let me find that fill that he was talking about so you could hear it.
Oh, is it that important?
No, it's good.
It's probably terrible.
It's good. I like it. It's more so Matt, but also with the Wait for it.
Watch out!
Yeah. So yeah, shout out there. That's good.
I hope Bernard Purdy never hears that. He'll charge me.
He's like, I believe I copyrighted that, Phil, Charlie.
Yeah. No, I played with him a few times. I was like, "Can you show me that, Phil?" I'm lucky enough to play with all these incredible drummers, and unlike the microphone or studio stuff, I always ask them questions. Mm-hmm. How did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do that?
Right.
So here's my one little guitar part. Wait, how can I easily unsolo all these? Let's see.
So if you option click on a solo button, it'll cancel all the solos super fast.
Yes. Thank you.
So yeah, if you're going for,
I just learned something.
Yeah. I was telling these guys before we started the show. I was like, I want this one to be a fun two-way street because you guys are still getting your feet wet here inside of Luna. So like, it's cool to see. Obviously we're here to celebrate the music and pulling out all these production tips, but vice versa. Like I'm here to help you all on the Luna side.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm definitely gonna be hitting you up too later about a lot of this. So this is my one guitar part that got okayed.
It's not just okayed. It's like that's a melody. That's a hook to
That's
me.
the hook.
That's the hook of the tune. And it's funny. Bobby Previtt taught us a lot about minimalist composition and how you can have a lot of different things as a hook, and they all add up. These small parts.
So this is you, Charlie. Is this one of your parts, Charlie?
Classic Charlie rhythm. And then we got some Charlie wah, which is gonna come in here. And then we got some solo, which comes in. Just like little ditties. And then later on, this is kind of outside of Charlie's normal, because I kind of took this solo and chopped it up and put it where I wanted to.
Thank God he did that.
Just a little work, but it sounds great, I think, now. So check it. Let me put it. See what I'm saying?
And that fuzz box I made myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got.
it's that one.
Let's see. Oh, can I unplug it?
Yeah, it's not even plugged in. You can just grab it.
Oh.
Do you know this company BYOC? Build Your Own Clone.
Do I have like 10 of their pedals back there?
You
bet.
do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and Keith is a good dude. The guy that runs that company. But yeah, man, that's just the fuzz. Their basic fuzz pedal.
That was the very
Oh,
first
your
pedal.
own.
The very first pedal I ever built was their Rat clone, and
That's a hard one.
Oh my god, dude! It is. I've wanted rats. I mean, I've had a couple other. I've borrowed people's rats. I almost got to hold on to one forever, but then I was like, fine, I'm building my own. Dude, that is hands down. If you have never experienced a rat pedal on bass, you have to do it because it is the gnarliest. You get such a great bass distortion because you get to keep all the low end. It's such a good fuzz at not
nice.
thinning things out. So yeah, the clone's great. There is on UAD. Speaking of rat, in UAD, there's a plugin called Raw, which it's a rat pedal for UAD.
Yeah,
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay.
So just keep that in the back of your mind next time you're like, hey, these drums need to go through a rat pedal. They do, and then it's there.
Nice, sweet.
That's right. So when you guys are doing these guitar, so Charlie, again, are you just kind of playing these down like top to bottom and just throwing in ideas as they come?
I mean, honestly, I hate to be a douche, but I don't really spend more than an hour or two on any of these. I just go brap, 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 and I think that's better way to do it because it gets all the feel and all the fun and all of that stuff. And I mean, even like on my own records throughout the years, I'd say 70 to 75% of everything you hear is the first take, warts and all.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Machine Gun Charlie.
Well, and you get pretty good at it over the years, and also I'm not trying to play too much. I'm just trying to play a part, and usually I just whatever comes to mind first is usually the thing. And I mean, I'll put drums and bass and a couple guitars down and some percussion or whatever, and usually it's an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that it didn't take me like 30 years of investigating
no,
and practicing, like to get to that point where you can kind of barf this stuff out, so to speak.
His 2-hour tracks are like my 3-day
same.
focus. Like
it'd be me getting in there having to chop myself up and like
And I also can't edit. Like I don't have the patience for it. And also, I mean, he'll even tell you, like when we first started doing this, he's like, I don't even know where this song starts.
He would just send me stems that would start where they started in the song, and he'd be like, just put it in there. And I was like, bro, you don't understand.
Not only would I say just put it in there, I'd say that with a lot of like old attitude. Like, what are you
talking about? No, I played it perfect.
Don't you know? Can't you hear where it goes?
It should be obvious, duh.
To learn how to actually zero stuff out, which is hilariously embarrassing.
And I don't even know if you did it on this one.
No, this is probably early enough where I didn't. I was just like, nah, it goes there.
You see where this starts?
Yeah, right.
It starts right there.
I had a couple of questions in the chat, Charlie. I wonder what wah were you using for those parts?
I don't even know. Our friend Jimmy Washington, who's also in that band, Reliably Bad. He just brought me a wah. It's a crybaby. I don't know. It sounds good though. I mean,
Let me grab it.
Yeah.
Wah's a wah, right? Well, and especially the crybaby is kind of just the definitive.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what to say. That's as deep as I can get for you.
Yeah, but you're not. It sounded. Did you have like an envelope filter on it as well, or was it all with the foot?
No, just with the foot.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it was dry. I don't think I even did anything to it afterwards.
But I'll tell you what, I remember being and I remember 1975, living in Berkeley, California, and riding our little sad bikes around the neighborhood. And my friend said, my older brother got a guitar and a wah-wah pedal. He can make the wah-wah talk. And there were like 5 or 6 of us, and we were all like, oh, he can make the guitar talk? So we went to his house, this little apartment that the guy had, and he turned it on, and I remember him going, wow, 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 and we were duly impressed. Nice. I remember that. Whoa, the
guitar talked. Nice.
All right.
So then you got some keyboard parts here, some synth and clav, and
so the keyboard was done primarily by my buddy Glenn Yoder. Shout out Glenn. Glenn Yoder Music. You should follow him. He helped me actually get the chorus set, because I sent it to him and he was like, this needs a chorus, and I was like, it already has a chorus. But he was totally right. Turns out it was like flirting between like an E and a D, so we committed on one, and that's what brought the chorus. And he went through and he like sent a bunch of synth parts, both like actual synth, some guitar synth. Actually did another version of the bass MIDI before Matt got it. And then I also got my friend Ben Singer to play clav on this. I think it's a clav, yeah. Shout out Ben. Follow him too. It's like Ben E. Sing.
Yeah, Ben is a friend of both of ours, and he's a great musician and also a great maker of applications.
Yeah, he's
really
dope. He's super brainchild, like awesome.
We're actually coming out, a little plug, we're coming out with a metronome app that we came up with, where we basically we have recordings from Bobby Previtt, Corey Fonville, Carter McLean, Derek Phillips, Nikki Gillespie, George Sluppick, Jeff Clapp. I'm leaving a few people out because my brain. And he basically found an algorithm, or he designed an algorithm so you can take all of the playing that they've done and you can stretch it to faster or slower tempos without really any. It sounds and feels exactly right. And it's just like, it's like really like this incredible metronome app where because I have like not even a beta version. I have one version, and I was playing with it all day yesterday, just playing. I was just like, this is pretty damn nice. Like these are some good feels. There is no substitute for that human feel, especially when you get a drummer who's been playing for 40 years. There's no substitute for that.
Oh, for sure.
So let me show you some of this. Let's see. Oh, wait, that's a little bit real quick. All right. So here's something. So there's Ben.
Oh, I love the sound of clav, man.
Yeah, it's like my go-to garage thing to mess around with. Right, so then the chorus over here. Right. So you got like.
I love that. That just reminds me of so much of like Lakeside or like early '80s Prince. I love that keyboard sound.
So yeah, that's the synth part, and that's actually probably the most MIDI parts on here because all of those were done in MIDI, like different Ableton things. And I think Glenn uses like Keyscape a little bit or something. Yeah, so those, and then we have the majority of the song, which are my vocals.
I was like, and then
million vocals,
and then 3/4 of the session, which are all vocal. Man, how do you? So let's break this down from like so obviously you kind of write the song, maybe like do a demo cut of it real quick. How do you expand from it? Like, all right, here's my idea for what I want to say and my melody I want to rock to now like dozens of parts. Like what's that thought process like? Are you just kind of in the mo and like just let me try a new thing, or walk us through.
So sometimes it's a little bit pre-planned, like certain really sticky things that I want to add I'll kind of know. But I gotta shout out my vocal engineer and like one of my like best friends, Grant. Shout out Grant. He go at goddamn Grant. He's really, really sick. He does most of my vocal engineering. I don't actually know if it was on this song, but he does primarily all of them. And what we do is, since we just like vibe really well, is we'll get in there, we'll record stuff. I always do my overdubs because I don't like doubling stuff literally. So I'll like, I'll do like overdubs for emphasis on what I want to punch out. It's like an old hip hop, thing. Yeah. And then if there's sung overdubs, we'll do some harmonies. I'll do highs, mids, lows. Not that I keep everything, but I kind of bounce them in and out. And then we'll do ad libs, and I don't know, I'm like really okay with making multiple tracks because it gets hard when you try to put things in the same area. Like I have a lot of panning going on, so and that's how I get that dimension. So he helps me kind of organize that and make sense of it, because I suggest you don't record your own vocals if you don't have to. And also don't do it like this. I'm crazy. We're nuts.
But what he's not telling you, because he's too humble, is that he actually does have a photographic memory. So he can look at this and he knows where everything is.
That's true. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of this stuff you already know because of the way you think. You already know what it's going to be before you get in there. It's just the matter of doing the performances.
Yeah. A lot of it's execution and experimenting. I mean, it started out experimental. Once you get like a vibe and a feel, it kind of goes. Oh, by the way, Prince Jordan, I use a SM7B, and I use a blue microphone, though it broke recently. I also have a
what's that little can microphone you use?
Oh yeah, the Wasaphone. I'll put a Wasaphone.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes in there. But I know you were asking about the mic stuff, so that's essentially what I use. I mean, the SM7B is really great if you're trying to isolate. I have a cloud lifter plugged into it, so it kind of boosts all that. Nice. And then it goes into my Apollo, and I usually have like a unison, like a Manly on it, or something, depending on the track, just to let you know. And then it's all about, for me, it's about getting the layers and the characters. Like my lead, for the most part, kind of has a little bit more of a punch to it. I think I got that from like hip hop days, and then a lot of the tracks are under layers that are like here. I'll show you that thing I was playing earlier.
Oh yeah, let's see. Man, it's like these little you're right. Like character is the right way to think about it, right? It's not so much like, hey, let me double up the melody, let me sing it over and over again. Nah, it's like you get enough of that, and then add some characters. You got things jumping in.
And that's kind of like what the ad libs do. You know, like in hip hop, like people love ad libs, but it's just because it's another character, a recognizable character. You know,
right.
So like we got the lead vocal. Actually, I have two. It looks like on here, one that's tucked under there.
But you know what? If I can say one thing. What he does, it's really reminds me a lot of the old blues and ragtime stuff, where you have one guy singing and playing guitar, and then he'll interject things in between in another voice altogether.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, totally. Because I don't know. That's what I hear when I hear a lot of things that I like. That's why I love D'Angelo so much, because it's just all these just things.
So many things.
Yeah. So here's like the main right and left kind of tuck.
Love's a game you used to say I play too much, so I stopped playing games with you.
Right? And then I got another main under there.
All this time you kept your mind on me to see it through, but I never could choose.
Now, a lot of people, will put New York compression on there to bring it out, but sometimes I want that and sometimes I want layers, so I pick and choose. So you got stuff like that, but then also we got little things like this under there, which is labeled as harm wine. It's essentially just a whiny me, just me, literally it's whiny me. You'll hear it here. Check it.
Love's a game.
Oh, actually, let me play it myself. Here. This.
Love's a game you used to say I play too much, so I stopped playing games with you.
It's just like whiny, and then I'll have some harmonies,
All this time.
which you don't even have to be that great of a singer, man. Listen,
Love.
this is gonna be embarrassing.
All this time you kept your mind on me.
Oh, and then I cut it.
Never could choose.
So when you put it all together, like all those different harms, they have a lot of weight to them.
All this time you kept your mind on me.
Oh, I cut it weird there. So.
Never could choose.
And
then
this is the P Funk, man. Like this is what you're playing right now. This is what reminds me of P Funk, where you like random thing. Who cares if they were like singing the right words or the right like none of that really mattered. It was about the feel and the energy that they gave through on those tracks.
Yep. And then when you put it together, that's when you get like that feel.
Love's a game you used to say I play too much, so I stopped playing games with you.
Right. And then I got my ad libs like way down here.
All this time you kept your mind on me to see it through, but I never could choose. Oh, I could never choose. No, I could never choose. No, never.
So a lot of times I do ad libs last because I feel more hype, and I don't know. You just kind of go crazy with it and choose stuff. Cut a lot of those out, but.
But then you felt like, well, I don't want it to be just my voice on here.
Yes.
In terms of like timbre.
Yeah.
So you got Jordan and Brooke.
So yeah, Jordan Clark, shout out Jordan at howyou.ugood. He has a band 2012 Bid I Do. Dope. I went to college with him. And he's just a really incredible musician. Y'all should check out all of his stuff and download it. But he has been blessing me with a lot of background vocals. Also my friend Brooke Stokes at Be Stoked 2Ds.
Be Stoked.
Be Stoked.
Yeah, Brooke is a great young singer in the Greensboro area.
Yeah. Incredible. So this is Jordan, and then I'll put Brooke in there. Let me get
That's all he's got?
No.
Show me the proof. Give me that gusto. Tell me the truth. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't want to waste no time with her.
And then we got Brooke, and I'll play just Brooke and then both of them. So
You're not doing the option
I know, I keep forgetting.
option anxiety thing he was talking about.
What was it? It was option. No.
Well, yeah.
no.
So option
There it is.
remove. Yeah, option's kind of like a shortcut. It's like a do to all. Essentially, is what it's always going to do. So like if you option click on anything, it does it to all the tracks.
Yeah, which is super useful.
Show me the proof. Give me that gusto. Tell me the truth. Yeah.
see.
Oh my
Sick.
gosh,
Brooke is
don't
dope.
wanna waste
Sick.
no time.
Gives a whole different air to it, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
Give me the
totally
juice,
different timbre.
give me that
And then
gusto,
with Jordan,
give me the scoop. Yeah. No, don't rush. Maybe we should take it slow.
and then you put like, you could put me in there. Just this huge pink stack. Now all of us together.
Show me the proof. Give me that gusto. Tell me the truth. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't wanna waste no
And then you can
time
really
with her.
play with the layers and the.
Give me
and
the
the-
juice.
the-
Give me that gusto. Give me the scoop. Yeah. No, don't rush. Maybe we should take it slow.
Say,
yeah.
What's cool about that is it's very minimalistic in like you have mostly unison octave with an occasional little sprinkle of
Yep.
a harmony in there. And I remember Neil Young talking about that at one point, how like, I don't like to do harmonies that are lockstep perfect harmonies. I like to do harmonies that are more open and weird and incidental.
yeah.
You know?
So when you come, mix wise, like what's been your guys' process for taking, lots of tracks, lots of different sources, all these things. How do you combine this all together and create a final masterpiece?
I like.
He does it.
Yeah. So I put it all together and I listen to it and I just like try to remember what makes me love it, and I try to take out things and information that are conflicting and give space for each thing, but also we got like the different mix buses that we use in order to kind of hone things in, but also a lot of these tracks like on the album were mixed by the homie Stephen Price. He's an incredible person, so he kind of, since this is all kind of
Great engineer.
yeah, he's incredible. Shout out Stephen. It's Stephen Lee Price.
If anyone's interested, the record I made with our friend Lucy Woodward last year, Stephen engineered that and mixed that. Yeah.
So he had a lot of outboard gear, but he also just like schooled me a lot on, different things that you can do to add character and to take all those different characters and bring them out in different ways or separate them. So that's what we do with all the instruments. You got like, this distressor on the mix drum bus. We got a homie here on the
the 175.
yeah, on the bass. We got nothing on the guitar.
Because the guitar doesn't deserve anything.
I told you, we got the Manly on the Vox bus.
Yep.
And the Fairchild on the overdubs, just to give it a different, like pull to it. Then we have this is like the ad lib or the summing bus.
Yeah.
And then, like when you're finished, you got to do like mastering stuff. Now, someone like Stephen Price like does this with our outboard gear, and we also got a lot of our stuff mastered by Dave McNair. Shout out Dave.
Dude, Dave's the man.
incredible. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He
Dave,
is from another world. I love
Dave
him.
is the reason I moved down here to North Carolina, because we were neighbors in Jersey. And so Dave mixed and mastered a bunch of my records when I was up there, and then he moved down here, and he's like, dude, you gotta get the hell out of Jersey, man. So he's the main impetus for moving down here. He's in Winston.
Yeah.
But
He's who I have to thank for all of this, essentially.
Yeah.
Actually, and a lot of other things. Dude is cool.
He mastered all my first records I was making in New York. All went through Dave. Like that. I love what he does to records, man.
Yeah. It's so quick too. It's just like shockingly, it's scary. It's
super scary.
I literally felt like I was going to be teleported to another dimension. He was just click, 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 and I'm just like, what is happening? Like,
how does it sound so good, so fast?
Yeah.
What happened?
There's just so many knobs and speakers bigger than me. Like, I don't know. It was amazing. But in this kind of, temporary before that, if you don't have all, like, I don't have all that stuff. So when I do my mixes and stuff, we do kind of different things on the master bus. I'm just going to pull them up because I don't need to go through all of them. But these are what's on this right now.
Hell yeah. So yeah, it's kind of the assortment. You got the backs to kind of give you a little tuck, a little lift. You got
the smiley face curve going.
That thing is so good for you. You got a little Studer tape action for some harmonics.
Yeah, this thing is great.
dude,
Yeah.
it's such a good tape plug, and it's also I haven't seen in the session. Are you using the Studer tape on any of the track inserts as well? The built-in
Not
tape?
on in this session file, no.
We've used it on a bunch of
Yeah,
I've
we've
used it on a
definitely
bunch of
used
stuff.
it. Yeah.
Nice.
This is just on the master bus, but yeah, it is. That's actually the first UA plugin I bought. Yeah, great.
Right? Yeah, it's just like it
Yeah.
it does what it does.
It does it very well. Yeah.
And Montique, who works for you guys, was telling me about the two-track master tape thing now, which I tried. It's kind of mind blowing too. Man.
It's so good.
Yeah, but I didn't buy it yet. But that'll
Dude,
come at some point.
The ATR 102, the fact that now on any, it's not just your final master bus, but it's also any bus can now have an ATR tape deck on it. So
Wow.
That's crazy.
dude, the analog, and it's a big thing. The cool thing I'm sure you guys are picking up with working inside Luna is man, this thing, it sounds and feels so much like working in an analog studio. Like that's that's kind of the whole point is to really replicate that sound and that feeling on top of the experience of being able to just plug in, press record, and you're not sitting there worrying about buffer sizes or latency or having to mess with that stuff.
Yeah.
Which of course, man, I'd be super remiss, Charlie, if I didn't ask you about how are you doing? How are you recording your guitars? Are you doing direct? Are you going through amps? What's your signal chain typically like?
Yeah, I mean, for the guitar, I have a car amplifier. That's the same amp I use on the road, a Rambler. I've had it forever, and I just plug into that.
Yep.
Or I'll use this one called a Telstar. That's what it's plugged into now, which is great because you can turn the power all the way down and get some crunchiness.
You can kind of starve it for power.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's sweet. I love that.
And a lot of the stuff on the tune Something Special, there's a lot of that. And that's about it. I mean, honestly, sometimes I'll do direct guitar, but we just decided it always sounds better, even clean, to go with the amp because it's here and whatever. But the direct can be fine as well. My friend Corey Wong was telling me a lot of the stuff that he does when
Shout
he
out, Corey.
records
Yeah.
direct. So that would be the guitar. For the bass, I have this a friend in Phoenix, Peter Swan. He makes this great preamp called Useful Arts preamp. I don't know where I can't grab it and show it because I have to. But it's a great bass preamp, tube preamp. I'll use that. But I also really like the plugins for the bass. I'll use the Manley Voxbox or the API channel strip for the bass as well, which is great. And then of course, I always put a LA2A on the bass, always, even if it's off. I'll still put it in there. And then like I said, the drums the same, percussion. I play a lot of shakers, conga, whatever, and that's just that AEA ribbon mic, and then Ocean Way Studios and a little bit of compression here and there. Pretty simple. And like you said, I think the reason I took so well to this Luna as my first kind of experience is that, it does remind me a lot of what it has been like for me. I mean, I started recording in probably 1984, and it was just all tape and all that stuff. And I remember in the early 90s recording on Pro Tools and being like, this sounds terrible, let's have the tape. And then later I remember in 4 or 5 years ago recording on digital on Pro Tools and being like, this sounds really good, let's not bother with the tape. And now I'm just using this Luna, I'm just like, damn, I'm good, I'm cool.
I'm good.
Because you get to a certain point where you've done all the stuff with tape and all that other stuff, and you remember just sitting there for it's like someone who commutes to work. If you stop to think how many hours of your life you're spending in your car, it was the same back in the day. How many hours of your life did you spend waiting for a tape to rewind?
Right. It was kind of the forced coffee break back in the day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Stand up and stretch time.
I'll take this. This works for me.
Yeah. Well, man, it'd be, so it's been super cool kind of dissecting it and learning about this process that you guys have been going through. Obviously, you've been working on lots of different tunes, but one of the other things I thought would be kind of cool to show people would be kind of, seeing some of that beginning part of the process of kind of like where you guys start from, and almost, kind of starting a little something from scratch. So I think if it's cool with you guys, do you mind if we jump over to that other session file and
Let's do it.
Kind of break it down instead of breaking it down, let's build something up.
Sure.
Oh, look at that face. Where'd that guy come from?
Who's that guy? That guy looks different than this guy. This guy had a haircut. I don't know what else he had.
This guy hasn't had a haircut in a year.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. This guy.
I have to switch microphones.
We're gonna have to switch some stuff up.
Headphones.
Switch headphones?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back.
Oh,
there.
right. Okay. So, here you go.
No, I got him.
Oh, you got him. He has his own headphones.
It's COVID, man.
That's right. So, this I guess is.
Can you put him in though?
Yeah. Where are they?
Next to the thing.
Oh, he's got everything totally together.
He knows what's going on, Charlie. Catch up.
He knows. I can't catch up. Most of the time, I really just can't catch up, and I have to wait around while something very rudimentary is explained. Like, so this is. Hang on, let me put you on record.
Tell me
here.
if this is this good?
Record enable error. Maybe.
Oh yeah, because I put you into. Remember I showed you that trick a little bit earlier, of so we had before the show you guys had this as 2 mono tracks for your stereo instruments. So I showed them the trick of coming up here to the track menu and doing a convert to stereo. But the one thing it didn't preserve was the input assignment. So just come in here, hit input.
Okay.
And that's coming
1 and
on.
2.
That's on 1-2 or is that on 3-4?
1 and 2.
1-2. Nice.
Okay.
And now we should be able to hear the MPC.
Oh, I don't think I can. Oh, right. That's why.
Oh, because so you'd have to unplug
that. Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay.
There we go.
Sorry.
There it is.
So what do we do now?
Is that super loud for y'all?
Maybe just bring it down. There we go. That's a nice reasonable level.
So he.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. When he came in earlier, he had all this stuff on the MPC, which he was just playing, and then he recorded this whole track, and I recorded some bass to it, and I was just really not even thinking about it. Are we going to keep that bass track, or what are we going to do?
So whatever, you could play a bass track, you could play a guitar track.
Okay, what do you want me to do, Ben?
I would say, yeah.
I want you guys to do what I'd love to see is kind of like what your guys' process is for starting these tracks. So so we've got Daron, you've come in with the MPC. So have you already kind of sequenced and programmed something in there? And is this kind of?
I have something. I have like some piano that Grant did, and I chopped it up, put it in here, and I kind of put all the sounds in here and made something. We have a little recorded thing of kind of like what we did earlier, but essentially it was something similar to like. Yeah, it's hard, but yeah, I got it. So that's like, put those parts in there. You got the hi-hat, we got the kicks, and then I got like my little bit of a, and then can you hear that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some sub bass.
Sub bass, yeah, and then he did some bass. You want to play the bass? You want to just?
Well, I can't play the bass because you're on the channel.
No, I mean like play it.
Play the
play
track?
what we got. Yeah.
Just the bass or play everything?
May as well play them together because so the things the things that are now pre-recorded in here we got. So this is like the MPC sequence, drums, keyboard, everything kind of all put together, right? And then you've added some live bass. So yeah, I think it'd be dope to see kind of the layering process and how you keep on building on top of this.
And I was just
we were just kind of messing around.
This is like the second time I heard this, so I was just messing around.
Do we have can I get this mic recorded? Or actually I guess we don't need to record it. Let's see.
Should I record the guitar?
Good.
Do you want to do the rap too at the same time?
Sure.
We can
that
do
cool?
it all. Exactly.
Let's start it over.
Let's do it all.
Let me add him as that'll be track number 3. Watch me, Ben. You're gonna be so proud. Look what I can do.
Look at him go.
Oh
Watch
jeez.
out.
Ooh.
Watch out. Wait. Oh, hang on.
It's killing
Let's
it.
make sure we got phantom power. Would you test your mic for me?
Mic check.
Is that
1,
good enough? Do you guys need
2.
a little more?
Hello.
Is that too much?
Hello. Not
Probably.
enough. Hello.
Well, you may want to record enable. You might want to record enable the Vox track. So right now you guys are here. Since we're using the Vox track for Zoom as well, so that way you guys are already hearing it through console. But this will now bring it into Luna for you.
Okay, go. What do you got? Try it.
Hello. Check.
I
Looks
can't
hot.
hear him now, though.
Can't hear it.
It took you out of the
live.
queue.
The cue.
Yep.
So here.
Yep.
Hello.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Hello.
Yep. And you probably want to do the same thing for the guitar track. You'll want to.
I don't need to hear that shit. I can already hear it enough, honestly.
All right.
You got
Cool.
some anyway now.
All right, you want to do it?
Sure. Let's just try it.
All right. Well, you got to put that on record.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Tough guy. And then you got to push play. That's how Luna works, man. It's old school.
Let's get it.
Let's do it.
How did I get here? Where is it I'm going? Why even bother? Maybe I should split like my father. But what about my mother? My sister? I love her. I wonder if she's curious what happened to her brother. I'm leaving very soon and never giving back the knowledge for knowledge. Yeah, I'm keeping all of that. The books? I sold a few, but more often I hold them true. So when I'm feeling dumb, I just open one and start a new page. Had a strange dream the other day. Car crash almost took my fleeting life away, but holy hell, ain't it swell? I'm a healthy sack of bones, pulled myself out the wreckage, then I walked my ass home. A friend once said that I pack a lot of soul, that I should figure out a way to turn my passion into gold, and make enough to make it work and manage on my own instead of writing when I'm piping all alone. Yeah, how did I get here? How did I get here? So I was born in a lukewarm city on a bayou. I tuned every station in my brain to survival, aced every lesson in the Kobayashi Maru. Now I'm headed for the stars to defend my title. In the cosmos, I feel most at ease. On the Milky Way, I float wherever I please until I'm on the road again. With a new lifestyle, I be noticing to these other dudes I'm Nickelodeon. They try to shake me, I explode like a soda can. Cause when I make it, I bet that they'll be my biggest fan. I just don't understand, they try to be so nuanced with no net charge. That's why they all Jimmy Neutrons. Don't let it hold you back. I'm talking gravity. I'm up against the wickedness and depravity. This atmosphere could use a little more trees. I plan to be sustainable and plant these seeds. Hey. How did I get here? How did I get here?
Yeah.
and that's essentially it.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
rinse, repeat.
and then after that, probably what would happen is I would put like maybe I put drums on it. Maybe I probably would. We almost always put hand percussion on everything.
Yeah.
So I'd probably put shaker on there. Usually what I'll do is I'll do 3 or 4 different shaker tracks, a triangle track, a cowbell track, a tambourine track, and then I just give it
And
to
then
Daron.
some sort of other random thing.
Yeah, and congas, and I'll put congas on it. But
Yeah.
I don't put this all on thinking I am so great and all of my parts are so good that they have to be there all the time. I put them on thinking like, look, I'm just going to give this guy a whole aisle in the supermarket, and he can pick what he wants to use and where he
Snack
wants
on what I need.
Yeah, where he wants to put it,
And so you're doing every time you're doing those, are you doing full top to the bottom takes of all the percussion? Or are you doing more like loops for those?
Oh no,
All the way
everything.
through.
All the way
There's
through,
a
man.
video on my Instagram of Charlie doing a triangle for one of our songs called Tasty. And we made him do that for 4 minutes straight.
And it was exactly the same pattern. Because honestly, even a shaker pattern that's just that it's kind of cool to play it the whole way through, because you're going to mess it up a little bit here and there, you're going to wobble a little bit, and it just adds that kind of cinema verite, so to speak, to it.
Well, man, like that's I love that you're saying that, Charlie, because like, man, I think that's one of the coolest things I like seeing done on records, especially when there's like a loop based component, is to have things that are super not loop based, like to have it be that through performed, percussion or bass or whatever, like. Having that full human throughout the whole thing, like, yeah, it's doing the same thing over and over, but like, man, it adds a vibe. Even if Daron's kind of taking it, letting it drop in and drop out throughout the tune to help create the arrangement, you're still like, this chorus is not a perfect copy paste of that chorus. It does something to the feel of it, and it gives you moments as well, I'm sure, because like I can imagine you're sitting there vibing on it, right? You're kind of shaking, then like get to the end of the chorus, you're just like and like you add like a little extra, you give it like an extra zhuzh, or you give it like maybe it drops out for a second and then comes back. Like it's just stuff like that you don't get when you just copy.
Exactly. And I feel like because of like it's so easy to kind of use the computer like that, we're getting more and more pushed away from like that live element that you would get with the band, That's like one of my main reasons for liking to keep those things, because I just miss bands and that camaraderie, It's important.
And it's also, I think we've developed like as humans over the centuries or millennia to really expect that kind of variation, and we're used to it. And I think for myself, like for instance, when I'm just going to turn that a little bit so I'm not spraying you. I think we're used to that. And for myself, I remember being on the road and someone was saying, "Oh, I think it was Lucy Woodward's. Oh, this is a good song, or this song," and I was just like, I didn't notice a song. I didn't notice it was playing. I didn't even notice it, and it was loud. And I think I didn't notice it because there was nothing in there that whatever my music senses were telling me, this is a message from another human that's trying to tell you something very important that you as a musician who have been on this continuum that goes back thousands of years need to listen to. So there just wasn't that.
Yeah.
Conversely, I'll hear something like years back, like the White Stripes, and I'll be like, "Oh, this shit is cool." I mean, it's not like they're like playing, but this is the bomb right here. This is saying something to me.
Yeah.
Or even early hip hop stuff, so anything that has that element of, hey, this could crash and burn any minute. That's what's exciting about it. There is no safety net.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That right there, man. Like that people feel that, like as much as we love like the power of computers, you're totally right, man. It's like that risk, that element of like, yeah, maybe it all falls apart, but that's cool because that's human. Like that's that's why people enjoy live shows. That's why they love live musicians and bands still to this day. Is there's that element of danger and that humanness to it. You can't get that just by quantizing and programming, copy pasting absolutely everything. It's not to say one's right or one's bad. Like it's the combination of all those things and inputting, especially for what you guys are creating. Like it's marrying those two things together. That's super. It's creating the sound. It's creating your own unique flavor and sound that references these old things and brings in these new things, and it's man, it's so cool. And I can I'll just echo from the chat here, man. Like as you guys were kind of just laying that down, I know you're just like sketching out, doing off the top of your head, but like, yo, the amount of fire that I saw in the chat come through. People were going nuts, man. They loved it. Victor said it really well. He was like, man, at the end of the day, though, you guys are kind of referencing like this and that. Darren, man, it's delightfully unique. Like that. It's just it's the perfect way to put it. It's like delightfully unique music, man. And yeah, it's man, this is just it's been super fun from my end too. Like getting to geek out with you guys, learn about this process. See what you guys are doing, how you guys are staying inspired, how you're inspiring each other, how we're inspiring other people as well throughout all this. Super, super cool, man. I really, really appreciate you guys coming on. So
thanks for having us.
This has been an amazing experience. I really, really appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Well, so I don't want to leave people hanging. How can people hear this music? How can we get more of this?
So we're in the process right now of getting hopefully this one out. Shit, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, we're in the process. We got it ready. We're getting it out.
Yeah.
I might like drop something on my SoundCloud or something before then if I get antsy. But I would say everyone just like make sure you follow Charlie and I, Charlie Hunter 67, more Daron, because that's where I push all my updates and what's most current. And then I mean, if I get too antsy, I'm gonna just drop something.
I know, and we're kind of going crazy because I mean, I've been in, and I'm sure you have too, Ben, where you've been in a lot of situations where the shoots are greased, right? You just everything is there, but then you're like, oh, let's see, we got the management in place, we got booking, we got the PR in place, we got the label in place, we got distribution in place, but damn, we don't have any tunes. You know what I mean? Or these guys need to learn how to play, or damn,
exactly.
it's like they sure look good, or whatever it is.
We're like
Everything's
the
ready.
opposite.
We're the exact opposite. We probably have 3 really strong albums worth of material that is ready to go.
Yeah.
But the COVID thing, it's been tricky for everybody, you know. So we're working on it now. And if anyone wants to know anything more, they can hit us up in the DM. And follow more Daron, because he's of a generation that is probably way more likely to answer the DM with an actual meaningful response.
Very true. I'll try, especially if I know the answer.
Nice.
Before we jump off, I just want to shout out just a couple people, like all my friends who are supporting. Thank you. I want to shout out my friend Dev. She did my hair.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Looking
Crazy
good.
On point. Follow her at DNash, two E's. And actually my edge ups from Design Lounge, so just want to shout out my barber.
Gotta keep the local people happy.
Yeah,
I know, right?
You're looking at, they were a part of, so
especially since I'm gonna probably go there too.
It's like I feel like I need to get a barber friend right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. You're just in, but you got to let it go all the way.
Dude, that's been thank you, Charlie. I'll tell my wife that you said that it's cool to just keep it flowing. So
hey, you know what? You have it. You actually have hair. You might as well enjoy it while it's there, man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Well, guys, Charlie, Darren, man, it's been so fun hanging out with you guys this morning. Really appreciate you guys letting us, come into the woodshed here and see what you guys are working with, how you guys are working. Like I said, man, it's truly inspiring to hear what you guys are doing, hear how you're doing it, and it's really cool. Really cool that you guys are doing this and having Luna be a part of your process. It's really fascinating, man.
Right on, man. Thank you, and thanks for having us, and thanks to all the people at UAD, because for real, like years ago, I went there and hung out in Santa Cruz in your place, and I had no idea what was going on. Everyone was super nice. Now I know not only are the people there super nice, that's a great company from the top down, but I also love all this stuff as well.
You guys kill it. You made my life so much easier when it comes to recording vocals and latency and all of that. Like, thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
thank
dude.
you, for real. And
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Dude, absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a fun week. We've had shows every day of the week. we're going to take tomorrow off. We'll be back Monday with an office hour. So if you guys have got specific Luna questions or just want to come hang out with us, we'll be back Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. Everybody have a great weekend. Go out there, make some great music, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Hey.
Peace.
Peace.